Hi, class. What I'll do right now is I'll go over some questions that were sent to me today um, for our first class. But before I begin, I just want to go over a couple things. The practice questions, those are intended for you to complete so that you'll be more prepared for the quizzes and tests. You will be getting a daily quiz beginning for today's class at the end of class. And for the first class, I'll kind of give you a little bit longer time to get that done, just in case you're having problems with the technology. But the time frame for that will get shortened in terms of when it is due. Second thing I want to mention is as far as direct messaging questions, today I made an exception because, again, just issues with the technology and getting connected. But I'm only going to be responding to direct message questions during class time. Okay, so after that, I'm not going to be available. You can definitely email me if there's something you want me to look over that I can look over for the next class. But as far as direct messaging goes, I'm not going to be doing that after class time. And then finally, just make sure that you have the time set aside, the set time for the class, where you're getting stuff done and you're asking questions, you're looking over the notes, you're using your notes package. Okay. When you have the quiz today, what I want you to do is take a picture of your completed quiz and then you can submit it back where it says assignments. Okay. All right, so let's go over some of the questions I got asked today, or yesterday, sorry, July 6th. So first one was 5A. So this is, we're looking at page 13 here first. We'll start with that one. Okay, so number 5A. So that one was saying to rewrite in this format. So you wanted, this is basically your format that includes the horizontal and vertical translation. Now you can leave it in this format or you can just put it as y equals with a plus k at the end. It doesn't really matter. So for this one you had a function of 1 over x. And then what it's saying is you're taking that function and you're translating it 5 units to the left. Okay, so if you're going 5 units to the left, that means h is going to be equal to negative 5. And then you're going 4 units up, so k equals 4. Okay, so what this is going to be then, this is going to be y minus 4 equals f x plus 5, right? Because you have two minuses. And like I said, if you can either write it like this or you can write it as y equals fx plus 5 plus 4 if you want to stick the 4 on this side, okay? So it doesn't really matter. Okay, let's look at the next one. Now, just before I do that, the other way you could do that, and some of you might have thought of it this way, the reason why we're writing it in this format is because the question asks you to put it into that format. Now, had they said change around the original 1 over x, then this would be something like 1 over x plus 5, and then plus 4. Okay, so that would be, this would be, let's just call that y. That's how you would rewrite that. Okay, next question, let's look at 6 and 7. Those are kind of similar. I got quite a few people asking about those two questions. So start with number 6. So number 6, now the first thing is you got to read the question. It's saying it's a vertical translation only applied, so there is no horizontal translation. So you've got your function y equals x squared, and what we're saying is how is it that that function would give you the coordinate 4 and 19? Okay, so again, if you're only, like the question said, only a vertical translation, that means the only thing that is present is a k value. So what's happening here is if you put y equals, you put in 4 for x squared, then this will be plus k. K's got to be something. So this is going to be equal to 16. Therefore, k's got to be 3. Okay, so that's the only way you're going to get 19. So k is going to be equal to 3. And what you can do is you can either write this as y equals x squared plus 3, or if you want to use that above format here, we can put down y minus 3 is equal to, and then just f of x. Okay, so either of these two would be fine. Okay, number 7. Same type of question. This one is saying your function is y equals x squared. And here the only thing that's happening is you're going to apply a horizontal translation, which means something's going on with h. But your k, there is no vertical translation. So here your coordinate is 5, 16. And so if we put basically 16 as y, then the only way that's going to work is if x equals, if x squared is 4, right? So the only way you're going to get 4 is if it's 5 minus 1 squared. Okay, so h has to be equal to plus 1, which means you're moving it 1 to the right. That's why you get the negative 1. So for this one here, you would get no k value, and then x minus 1. Okay. Or you can write that as y equals x minus 1 squared. Okay. All right, let's go to the next page now, page 28. Okay, so as you see, I'm going over questions. So as you're working on questions in today's class, just ask me if there's particular ones you want me to go over. Okay, so let's go over 1A. Okay, so 1A is basically saying you've got a set x coordinate of negative 4. Okay, so x is going to be negative 4. And then you've got 3 different variations of a function. The first one is you've got fx equals 2x plus 1. Okay, so for this one, you just sub in negative 4. So that's going to equal 2 times negative 4 plus 1, which is going to be negative 7. Okay, the second one is gx is equal to negative f of x. So this is basically saying that you're going to multiply what you get for fx by negative 1. So this would equal positive 7. And then the one that was kind of confusing was the hx, which was f of minus x. Okay, so how do you do this one? So what this is saying is hx is equal to the fx function with a negative x inserted. So now instead of inserting negative 4, what you're going to do here is you're going to multiply this by positive 4. Okay, so you're taking the negative, so and the original x is negative 4, and you're taking the negative value of that, which is going to make it a positive 4, and then you're going to add 1 to it, and so this is going to equal positive 9. Okay. The next question we'll go over is number 5. Number 5 is a good question because it kind of summarizes the differences between the stretches and the reflections. Okay, so it's basically saying you've got some original function f of x, and let's say f of x contains some coordinates x, y. Okay, so what we want to show is how are those coordinates x, y going to be changed if, for example, a, you've got y equals 4 times f of x. Okay, so what's going to go on here is you're going to multiply the y value by 4. So here you're going to get x and 4 times the value of y. Okay. For b, you get y equals f of 3x. Okay, so this is the tricky one here. So here, what's going to happen? This is working off the horizontal, and basically what you do here is the opposite. So if it's a multiplication of 3, that means that what you're going to end up doing is you're going to do a division of 3, and that's going to act on the x value. Okay, so suppose your x coordinate was 12, then you would go 12 divided by 3, and it would now become 4. Okay, so this is useful when we're doing the mapping. Okay, for C, you got y equals negative f of x, so that's kind of like what we did for number 1. So here all you're doing is you're just multiplying the y coordinate by a negative. And then for D, so this is a reflection, and then for D, you got y equals f of negative x, which is just the same thing, except this time we're multiplying the x by a negative. Okay, so I think those were the questions I had gotten. If it's still a little bit confusing, don't worry, because we're going to kind of keep looking at the first topic we're going to look at here is the combination of these different transformations, so you can still get practice on these. And the other thing I'll say too is I'm assigning particular questions, but by all means, you know, there's other questions on those pages as well, and you can definitely do those if you would like further practice. Okay, so that's something additionally you can do. Okay, so again, just recall the reminders I mentioned at the beginning, and then, like I said, just keep sending me questions that you want me to go over. So this will kind of be the way I'll start class, going over particular questions you have from the previous class, and then we'll get on with the new topics. Okay, I'll talk to you soon.